Hey guys, welcome back to our
Real Love Scenario.
Shout out to all our real lovers out there.
Hey y'all, welcome back.
Welcome back. We're excited to be back.
Of course we are.
Like
we
I
love it
always say,
here.
my happy place.
We love it here. We love it here. How are you?
I will, be honest with our real lovers today.
Yes.
Um,
We love honesty.
Sometimes there's, a thing that we call the weather, and I'm a little under it.
Yes.
Had a little stomach bug. It's been winning.
It's been kicking. It's been kicking your butt.
It's been kicking my butt, but I'm fighting back.
It's been kicking your butt. No pun intended.
Wow, that is a no pun intended right there. Wow, yeah. But I'm
praying for my friend. Y'all keep my friend lifted in prayer. By the time you see this, we are calling deliverance over this stomach bug over Dre's life.
Yes.
Amen.
Just don't deliver deliverance. I'm just gonna leave it there.
Yeah, no more puns.
Yeah, I don't need to get any more detailed about that. But yeah, I'm pushing through Jordan flu game. I'm hoping still to, be on my P's and Q's, and I'm excited to, always be here for our real lovers. So
Absolutely.
Super excited. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's a beautiful day. It was a long week, but I feel like I say that all the time.
Yeah.
Because it's just true. But the highlight of my week is I got to see Earth, Wind, and Fire in concert. I didn't know that was a bucket list item until I was like in the moment. And it was like, it was so good. It was great. So I had a wonderful time doing that.
Shout out to the parents who keep that type of music alive in their household for their kids to enjoy. For sure. Right? It
was so crazy because I text my mom because I was going to get a couple videos to send to her. And I was like, Mom, did you love Earth, Wind, and Fire? Because my mom didn't play it a lot, but my dad did. And when I would be with him, he listened to them a lot. She was like, they were just okay. I was like 13. She's like, I was like 13 when they were really popular.
Oh, got you.
And
she was 13?
My mother was.
Wow.
Yes.
The fact that we could still sing their songs and know that's like the definition of timeless music when they say that.
That's why it hit me like, yo, this is like a legacy moment. Like my children will probably not get to see Earth, Wind, and Fire perform live.
Yeah.
By the time I have a baby, they won't have this experience, but I'll be able to tell them about it, that I was there. I got to see it. And 3 of the original members are still alive. And I mean, high energy, playing all the instruments, vocals were so good. So it was great. It's like such a true testament of like people doing what they love.
Yeah.
And you see how it has an impact on them. So it was awesome.
Nah, them older generations of music, like we were talking earlier, is that they had to be good. Like
they had to be good. Yeah.
Even there weren't, even though you have all this like digital stuff, like the digital sounds, the digital snares, kicks, keyboard, all that stuff.
Yeah.
They didn't have like the auto tune or the pitch correction or anything like that. Even some records were recorded like live and put out like live.
Absolutely.
That's why you got some tracks like Gap Band will be like 9 minutes and it's just like playing a hook over and over again and just like
you going with the flow.
So it's like
it was incredible. They had a whole like 4-minute set of just music, no vocals.
I would love to see them. I would also love to see like the Ozzy brothers too.
Yes.
Because they like, even like I love Tiny Desk, and watching their Tiny Desk like had me like, oh, like it's just still like, smooth.
Ooh, you can't help but to dance. Like I'm just sitting there trying to chill my cute little section, and that certain songs came when I was like, oh my, I got to stand up.
It's music that makes you get up. Like you don't even want to.
You don't. You can't just snap to that.
Nah.
No, you can't. You can't. So
that's
it was
awesome.
Great. Yes.
I'm glad you enjoyed that.
I did.
I gotta find me an old school band to go see.
You do. I think they're on tour. So check them out.
Awesome.
Yeah. So if you want to see Earth, Wind, and Fire, they're worth the money.
Bree and I got our mother's tickets to Babyface and Anita Baker in Baltimore, which is going to be insane.
So good. I've seen her once. She is incredible.
And as a flip side, as we move on from this topic, I went back when I was listening to one of our episodes and I was like, Rhonda said her mom didn't want her listening to Adina. I started listening back to her songs. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like all the songs, even the names of them are like.
Absolutely. Adina was like porn in music form when she was out. So yeah.
I'm going to say like this, like all right, I'm gonna read the first, like Apple, when it just comes up, like what the first songs are: Freak Like Me,
Yeah.
T-shirt and panties,
Mm-hmm.
Nasty Grind,
Mm-hmm.
Freaks,
Period.
Do You Want to Ride,
Yeah.
Baby Come Over,
Mm-hmm.
Butt Naked.
Butt naked. That's what I'm saying. Like
Like,
so you understand why
goodness,
my mom
Adina?
was like, girl, are you dumb? I wish you would be walking around here talking about some T-shirt and my panties on. Like, what? You better put some goddamn pants on.
She was like the Lil' Kim like
Of
like
R&B.
R&B. Like, oh wow.
Yes, yes. Also was not supposed to listen to Little Kim. Like,
Oh yeah.
of course. A woman who poses legs cocked wide open with underwear on the cover of her album. To think where we are today, that's not even weird today.
No, it's like
It's almost
you
expected
don't do
today. Right, right.
Like you're the oddball out if you don't do it.
That's correct. That's
versus
correct.
doing it.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I love that I've lived to see that transition. Yes, it's dope. It's dope. Y'all know we could talk about music all day. We could have a music show.
We could.
We really could. One day.
Might be a segment.
We might
do something.
Wait, before you move on really quickly, shout out to our real lovers for listening and dropping the hashtags in the comments.
They do.
On YouTube.
I seen that.
I love y'all. I love when y'all listen.
Awesome.
Big hearts.
Love our real lovers. And speaking of our real lovers, great segue. Want to read our review today. It's from Maria F.48.
Hey, Maria.
I don't think I read this one. Sometimes I'll be forgetting if I read some of these.
It's okay. They're nice enough to hear twice.
Yeah. But this one says, thank you. I think you posted this one. I recently went through a breakup, and this podcast has truly been a saving grace for me. While my healing journey will be a long one, this podcast has been a source of comfort when I've needed it the most. Thank you.
You're welcome, Maria. I did post this one.
Yeah. It's
so dope.
So nice. Like, I'm glad that we can, help you in your healing journey.
Yes.
And like I said, I'm a big believer that in order to understand a problem, you need to get the full perspective.
Yeah.
And that's seeing it from different angles and different views. And the only way that you can do that is from being receptive of different angles and different views. It's impossible to see a picture if you're just looking at it from your perspective, because that's just one way of looking at it.
Yeah.
So what we hope to do on this show is to provide perspective to help you get a better view of the overall picture of whatever you're looking at. We're glad that we can provide perspective for you, Maria, and also a lot of our real lovers that helps you maybe look at the full picture of your relationship. Even if you may not agree with certain things, maybe you have a better understanding on how to approach certain things.
Yeah, for sure. And just have an expansive mindset on what love is, because I don't know if you all have noticed, but a lot of times our advice is applicable even if you are just trying to manage a good relationship with yourself.
Years.
Like, love is expansive. It's not just romantic. It's not just platonic. It's also like self. So that's important when you're going through a breakup. So sending you good healing energy as you go through that process. And thanks for being a real lover.
For sure. Before we get into our real life love scenario and our scenario for today, I wanted to talk about something that I'll be doing that's really, really dope.
Okay.
That I'll be, my wife Bree will be coming with me for all those who, want to know, because I know y'all love us as a package. But I'll be hosting a relationship retreat in Cabo. Nice. So yeah, I was supposed to do it in Bali, but then I got moved to Cabo in August, and it's from August 8th to August 13th in Cabo, and it's by the Vacation Experience. So if you ever, or it's called the Vacation Experience, but it's by a company called Adventure in Black. So Adventure in Black, if you go to their adventureinblack.com or go to their Instagram, you'll have all the details. But it's just like a full week in Cabo. There's going to be different relationship like experts there. There's going to be a sex expert there. There's going to be a relationship coach there. And it's really for couples who want to grow and be better and do better. And the thing that I love about this is that it's not just workshops every day. It's like they understand the balance of like, all right, we have the workshops and we talk about different things and we get to meet new couples. But then we also have time to just enjoy. And that's one thing when they talk to us about it, like, how do you think this thing should be structured? I think I think that you should allow time for learning, but then allow time for practice. Like, you give people time to put the things into practice. Like imagine you
Absolutely.
getting all these sex tips, but you ain't got time to have sex.
Yeah,
Because
you got a full itinerary.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
let
And I'm
them
also
try something,
spending a lot of days in a place that I would like to enjoy.
explore and
Yes.
enjoy.
Yes.
So it's really cool. It's like 5-star accommodations. You got private transportation. We're gonna have like boat, days, and like it's just gonna be a really dope experience that Bria and I are gonna be on, and we're excited for any other couples that want to join us. And like I said, that's August 8th through the 13th of this year. The resort that we're going to be at is Breathless, which I heard is like a really dope resort that a lot of people are saying is like a really great resort. I think it's like a chain that there's a lot of different ones in different
Nice.
places.
It sounds amazing. Breathless.
It takes your breath away.
Yes.
But it's going to be really dope. And the cool thing is, what I got for y'all is that the real lovers, if you start, because you can do a payment plan. If you start the payment plan this month and you do things this month, you get $1,000 off.
Oh.
You just got to use the code real lover to do that.
Look at that.
That's how you know that I didn't just make this up and the code was Dre Smith and I just made it up just to say it was for y'all. The code is actually real lover, which you know
Real lover.
is for y'all. It's for the real lovers, and you'll get to hang out with Bria and I in August in Cabo, and
that.
we'll
Let
get
me
to
hurry up
learn.
and get a bag.
Right. Somebody
on.
sent me shout out to Courtney, who's I met. She's really cool. But she's a fan of our content and stuff. She DM'd me and was like, so can I come if I'm single? And I was like, I mean, we gonna have to find you a boo or something like that.
Yeah,
and she was like, dang, that sucks. But yeah, if you're in a relationship or you have something that you're in and you're really loving it and you feel like it's worth going on vacation on with this person, definitely check that out. Like I said, it's adventureinblack.com, and you can go to the Instagram if you want to DM me if you have questions or anything like that. Make sure to do that. But if you sign up, make sure you use the code real lover to get $1,000 off for this month. And what month are we in?
April, yeah. Don't snooze.
Yes. So let's move on to our real life love scenario. What do you got for us, Rhonda?
Let's do it. So I saw on several blogs, Monique did her recent stand-up special.
Shout out to Monique getting back
in the stand-up game.
In the stand-up game and in the prime light game, because I know she dealt with a lot.
She's been through a lot. And shout out to her for being a Baltimorean. Hey girl.
Oh, sure.
To do shoe. You know the vibes. But yes, she did her stand-up. And the joke that kind of went viral, because many people have known that her and her husband said they were in an open relationship for many years. But there's always been speculation around like a real open or like open, like emotionally. People play on that word a lot. But she tells this joke where she's like, I remember going to my husband and I told him like I wanted to be with a woman, like sexually, like. And she said his response to her was just, he was so beautiful and patient. And he said, baby, me too. I too want to be with another woman. So if you find one, let's do it. Let's just see what's up. And so it just made me think about, sometimes when you consider this exploration of sex in your relationship, you're totally okay with expressing what you want, but not always understanding that there could be a fantasy that your partner has on the other side of that you're like, whoa, wait a minute. Another example I've heard, like guys say, if my woman want a threesome, well, she has to want it with another woman.
Yeah, not another
when
man.
Her mind, a threesome could be him and another guy. So just was curious on your thoughts around that. Like, should there be reciprocity in these sexual fantasies or being open to them?
Well, first, I'm going to answer your question, but I don't want to forget this. With the Monique thing, I know that I've heard openly, like she calls her husband daddy.
She does.
How do you feel about like that? Like people who do that, like just publicly and call their man like daddy all the time.
Oh, I'm here for it.
You here for it?
What? Daddy. Shout out to Tamar Braxton. Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Okay. I think as long as he's cool with it and she's cool with it, I think it's dope. I've done that before. Maybe not like when I'm speaking of him in to other people.
Yeah.
You know, I might not like be sitting here with you like,
Like when
wait a
I was
minute,
talking to
this daddy. Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, I may not do that, but it just depends. But I'm
Got you.
definitely a woman that will call her man daddy. I can very easily separate the two.
Okay.
Yes, like nothing about calling a man that I'm sleeping with daddy makes me think about my dad. It just doesn't.
Okay.
No shade to y'all who struggle with that, but it's not a thing for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, I don't know. It feels like a very interesting, like, it's very tough because I'm sure there has to be some reluctant, that's a word, right?
Yeah.
Reluctancy, with wanting to share that, because once you throw that out there, you can't really take that back.
Right.
Because what if your partner doesn't agree or doesn't want that, or they feel like, or they take that personal, as, especially when it comes to things that are sexual, that's easy to take that personal as your partner isn't satisfied by what you're doing or the things that you're doing. So I know that has to be tough to even share that. And the reciprocity thing, that's tough because, I mean, it's funny in this situation because some people, like you said, they can't take what they actually dish. You know, if somebody's like, yeah, that's cool with me, let's do it.
Yeah,
then you like,
wait, I thought this would have been harder for you to take. It's like,
I'm cool.
Just been waiting for you.
I might have got a head start already.
Shoot,
I ain't gonna tell you,
I
but
got somebody in mind if you ready to start tonight.
Yeah, like you might. So either way, you could be surprised. Like you could be surprised by the person's non-response and not acceptance of it, but you can also be surprised by the person's acceptance of it and how down they are. Because sometimes I feel like you present things sometimes and you want a little resistance.
Yes.
And it kind of has you like questioning yourself or questioning even the person if there's no resistance at all.
Yeah.
Or no care at all. Then you're just like, why don't you care?
Yeah.
Why isn't there resistance?
Right.
Is there something that you didn't want to tell me? Because I feel like a lot of people want to be and feel in control of situations. And when you don't feel in control, it makes you feel, a little less than, or, in a position to where you feel a little weak and, not stable. So I feel like this situation, it seems like more like a control thing. Like as long as I'm dictating the terms and everything like that, then that's fine. And that's what normally happens. It's funny that Monique said this because I feel like a lot of times it's men who are doing this to women and presenting the option and saying like, let's have a threesome. Let's introduce this other person to the relationship. And often in those times we see in those situations, as long as the man is dictating the rules, how it happens, when it happens, who it happens with, then it's all good. But if you release that control or that control gets taken away from you and it starts to happen in other ways that you don't want it to happen, then you get upset.
It's a slippery slope sometimes. It's a slippery slope. And I think the really unfortunate part about it, because when you were just talking, my first mind was like, well, if this is something that you might even think you would want, you should try to tell it in the beginning, like when you're just dating, like before you even get all the way to marriage, so you're not like springing this onto this person. But that's really hard to do because we change.
Yeah, some people may not even know.
Yeah, it may not even be coming from like a weird place, or like, sometimes when you introduce new things into your relationship, sexually especially, your partner might get this sense that like, where you get that from? Are you doing something and this is why you want that? Sometimes that's it, but sometimes it's just you're changing, like you're growing in a different way. Maybe you even encountered a feeling that you didn't know you could feel until you were in an environment where you felt it. Like, using her example, let's just say she didn't have any experience or desire for women up until Monique is in her, I think, 50s, late 50s. Let's say she didn't have this feeling until she was like 40. So for 39 years, or give or take, she did not like women. But maybe she was somewhere and then she saw a woman in particular and it was like,
oh, wow,
I feel different. That makes me feel different. Something about this particular woman saying what she's saying or doing what she's doing. So it's no way she could have told her husband prior because it was a new development for her. I don't know. Just overall, I think if you're going to be married forever, if that's really the goal, or you're going to be in partnership forever, you have to really expand your mind to the thought that things could change. Things could change, and hopefully the changes, you can adjust with the changes, or you can work through the changes.
From your experience in life, let's say, I don't want to make it true or false, but
I love a true or false.
let's say I'll say more likely or unlikely. So it gives a little gray area.
Okay.
More likely or unlikely from your experience when somebody has an itch, they have to scratch it. Like when somebody has an urge or a desire, is it more likely that they have to scratch it in order to get past it, or less likely, you know, or is
More
it
likely.
more likely that they, you know, can just get past it over time or whatever like that?
I think more likely.
That they have to scratch it in order to
In
get
some
past it.
fashion, because it may not be the full scratch. You know, you could probably dance with it. You can tangle with it. You may not have to go all the way there with it.
Sometimes just knowing that you can do it
Yes.
can be enough for somebody to be like, okay.
Yeah.
That's
Like we
cool.
talked about on a previous episode, somebody that I know, he never sexually cheated on his wife, right? He thought about it and he even talked about it with other women. Like he had phone sex with them, but he never had actual sex with them. Well, that was enough for him. So he danced with it, and that was enough to scratch the itch, the feeling of cheating, although again, he didn't physically cheat. So I think it's similar. It could be that you don't go all the way with a woman, but maybe you masturbate to it. You know what I mean? Like maybe there are other ways that you consume it so that you feel like you're getting it. And let me tell you why I say more than likely before we, move on. So much of our lives, we kind of get what we want. Once you become an adult, like right now, if I want a ginger ale, I can just go get one.
Yep.
If I want to take a trip and I have money available to do it, I can just do it. It's not a lot of restrictions around that. I got an ID and I got the money.
Yep.
I can go. So it's hard when you get into situations where it's like something is very easy to get and the only thing that keeps you from getting it is like discipline. When you really
Your own
want
discipline,
it. It's so that's why I say more than likely people will get what they want because they can. It's not they can hide, sneak, lie. I don't know, but people can just get what they want.
Yeah, I think you brought up a good point as far as the discipline being the only thing, because I feel like in so many other aspects of life, we say experience is the best teacher, right? And sometimes you got to let somebody get burnt for them to learn and all that stuff like that. But then in relationships, if somebody has an itch, it's not appropriate to explore it because, that's wrong and that's breaking the commitment. So there has to be the discipline. But I can probably think of times that there's probably been people who they were allowed to explore it, or they tried to explore it, or went to explore it, and then they got up to the line and was like, nah, this is not what I want to do.
Yeah.
But had they not had the time to explore it or tried to explore it or did it, that, it may have got even worse because it would have built up in them, and then they would have exploded with whatever issue, and not even talking about like actually doing the action that they wanted to do. It could impact the relationship that they're in, how they talk to somebody, how they respond to somebody, how they, interact with the person that they're with. That could be how the relationship deteriorates versus like something from the outside happening.
Exactly.
So
that's so good.
It's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough.
That's why we admire people that have great discipline.
Yes.
We admire them when you encounter someone who has great discipline, period, because they are often the greats of our world. They are the greatest athletes. They are the greatest businessmen. They are the greatest husbands. They are the greatest wives. They are the most fit people. They're the most in shape people. Like they have the best voices because they have discipline around what it is that they do very well. And so we admire them, but they are the minority.
Yeah.
People who have high discipline, they are the minority. The majority of us do not have great discipline across many things in our lives. We just like, I got one life to live. I'm going to get me this threesome. Whether she want to do it or not, I'm going to get me a whole threesome. What Denzel say? I'm leaving with something. So I don't know. I wonder how much of that is a joke, because they've never really confirmed how open they were.
Yeah.
So I got to check out the special, but shout out to Monique.
Shout out to her.
I will be watching it at some point this weekend.
For sure.
Yes, I love her. All right. So are we jumping into our real love scenario?
Yes, we are.
Okay. I've read this one beforehand We read this one beforehand.
Yes.
And I must say, this is probably one of our most interesting scenarios
Very, very interesting.
to date. So y'all buckle up your seatbelts. We about to get on this ride into this scenario. All right. The person's name is Teachers Anonymous. So I'm gonna go if they want to be anonymous.
Give the email too, just so.
Nope at crazy.com. They said, I'm not even putting my real email address in here. Like, you ain't even gonna be able to reply to me. Like, it's a no. It's a no.
No.
Which, like, again, not to out you guys because we love our real lovers, but y'all be so cute when you put your name in as anonymous, but it's your real email address, and your email address is your name. Your secret is safe with us always, but it's just cute. But okay, here we go. He says, hey, let me just say I'm so embarrassed that this is my story, but I literally can't ask anyone in my real life what to do because it's just that wild. They have no idea that I'm even in this situation. I'm a 29-year-old guy, and for the last year and a half, I've been having an affair with my coworker who is married. Just to clarify, I am not married, just her. She is 28 and she's been married for 10 years, has kids and everything. And of course, I know I'm wrong, but it's hard for me to deny the chemistry and the bond that we've built. Initially, it was just sex, but if I'm being honest, we definitely fell for each other at this point, or so I thought. Last week, her and I were at lunch, and when we snuck off to our normal spot, she dropped her phone, leaving it unlocked leaving it unlocked. And while having fun, I saw my coworker's name pop up with a message that said, I miss you and your lips. Both of them. My heart broke. I didn't think I felt this strongly about her, but seeing that message made me realize I'm deeper than I thought I anticipated. It's also super awkward because the dude is our coworker. Like, I see him every day. It's like we are brother sides and we don't even know it. I feel stupid and hurt. I know it sounds crazy, but I feel like she's cheating on me and I want to address it. I guess my question is two-part. One, should I tell her I know and let her know my real feelings? And two, I need to know how to heal from this. I never want to feel this again or find myself in such an embarrassing situation again. Thank you, Teachers Anonymous.
Thank you for writing in. And obviously, it's a lot for us to talk about here.
I fumbled through a couple of those sentences because,
I mean,
Lord, ain't no drink in this bottle. This is water.
Yeah, it's just water.
I need a drink.
I mean, for number one, let's just put this out there. And I know we kind of, getting to the point just right now, but everybody who listening thinking,
this is crazy.
If she ain't committed to the person she made the commitment before God to, what made you think that you was going to be special? like you, I couldn't have seen this coming.
Yo,
like, you the other guy.
You are the other guy.
You're not the main guy.
He said, I'm the only other guy. You ain't listen, brother, I kind of understand what you're saying low key. You know, I understand. He said, you're going to have one side, not two. Now you got the chicken at home. I'm going to be the macaroni and cheese. You don't need no candy yams.
No
chicken
greens,
and mac. You don't need that.
Corn on the cob.
One at a time.
Lord, but I mean,
most balanced
got an
meals,
appetite because Lord, I don't know how she found the time. She a teacher, got kids, a husband, a side dude, and another side one at the same school.
At the same school, they at the job.
How she do that?
I mean, well, she killing two birds with one stone. She go to work. She can handle both of her guys in one location. Phew! I want to call her on the phone. Can you send us her phone number? Since we can't respond to you, text us her phone number. We want to see if she'll come on the show masked and we'll distort her voice. I have so many questions.
Well, it's good to know the guys at work don't gossip because it's true. I feel like, in certain situations that would have got out, but I guess her being married, makes the whole, well, this is the thing too.
We can't even break it all the way down because we are just like, wow, this situation is wild.
Like, do you feel like, Sometimes when somebody be married, that the person be knowing that they messing around.
Yeah.
And they just be like, whatever.
Yes, I think that happens. Not a lot, but I think it happens.
Because I feel like people can sense stuff. Like, we not as tricky as we think we are.
Nope.
I mean, I remember even we had a coworker that we work with who I did not want at all.
Okay.
At all.
Was this a coworker we worked with?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes, you know.
Yeah, delusional tail south.
At all.
I know you still watching. You're delusional.
At all. She obviously wanted me.
Bad.
I could have probably filed like sexual harassment suits. Like she would come in, massage my shoulders, like
just
stuff like that.
HR nightmare.
HR nightmare. But I remember one time she told either our assistant property manager or something that her husband came up to her and was like, "Don't be messing around with that little boy at work," or like was talking about me, like said something about me and her doing whatever.
Crazy.
And I ain't never touch her. I ain't never do nothing. I ain't never look at her in that way. Cause please trust me. No, thank you.
Super good.
I'm super good on that.
Yeah.
But still, her husband was like, he sensed something that even the energy from her was weird in a way that made him be like, yo, what's going on
here? What's
up
with you?
Like, what's in this person? So I feel like people who be married to these type of people be kind of knowing that there's something going on sometimes.
Yeah. I think that's how a lot of people get caught because, like you said, you're not as clever as you think you are. And even when you're not saying something, like you don't think you're being obvious, our bodies tend to tell on us. Body language usually tells on you, from body language to just actions and behaviors. So you ever like are trying to get away with something and you start having this conversation with yourself, like, just act normal. Just act normal, act normal. And the last thing you're doing is actually acting normal. If somebody was looking at you, they would be like,
you okay?
Like, what's up? Like, you seem off, but it's because you sitting here in your mind like, act normal, just act like, be cool, be cool. No, like it usually comes out. And I feel like in cheating specifically, like infidelity specifically, sometimes you either get really perked up about what you have going on outside of your relationship. So you might have been like normally at a 50. More
chill. And then
but now you're like at 70. Now you're like, you need me to do anything for you? I'm going to go to the store. Da, da, da. Like you have this new pep, but nothing in your life has changed from your spouse's perspective. And they like, she don't have a new job. She's not like, like nothing has inspired this that I can see. So what's inspiring it? Or you're below the level, you're more withdrawn from your person, and it's because you're likely more connected to someone else. Yeah. Like you ever a lot of times, I'm sure we all do it. You're messaging someone on your phone and your face is reacting to what you're reading.
Yeah.
Like either in a frustrated way, like, and you just over in the corner, like, and then you don't even realize your person is looking at you like, I know that face. That's a face that I only see with me.
Yeah, who you talking to?
So who the hell are you talking to? Yeah, so even when your mouth isn't necessarily giving off cheating vibes, it's your behavior and your body language that tells on you every time.
I've seen that from Rhonda too, just to let y'all know.
See what?
The switch up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for
Rhonda
sure.
got the voice too. Like,
yes, I do.
She be on. I remember one time we was eating.
Shut up, Trey.
And the voice switched up. I was like, "Who are you talking to?" She was like, "Don't worry about it.
Just let me be.
Let me do my thing.
I'm a flower. I am totally a flower when I'm in a safe space with a man, child. I'm a flower. Yes.
No, I love that. Yeah. So I mean, let's break it down here, buddy.
Let's break it down, bud.
So we can break it down to first workplace romances.
Yes.
Well, first. I'll go before workplace romances. Dealing with somebody who's married.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Obviously, you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's just a no-brainer.
The juice ain't worth the squeeze.
No, it's just not. It's not smart. It's not good for you. It's not good for them. It's dangerous. It's emotionally stressful. It's just it's not ideal. Life happens. You know, things certainly happen. People do it day in and day out. But realistically, it's just not worth it. And then some situations which we've seen, it can also just be like dangerous. This is where like crimes of passion can sometimes happen. People have been caught up in affairs and lost their lives over it. So yeah, that's a no-brainer. It's an easy Easy answer.
Yeah,
Not appropriate.
For me, I've never like seen with another man's wife. Well, I remember because obviously I'm a Christian and stuff like that. I remember there was a verse in the Bible that talks about it, and basically talks about like death. I'm gonna read it. It's Proverbs 6:29 through 35. If you open up your Bibles to Proverbs 6:29 through 35. When you get there, say amen. Amen. Okay. So the Bible says,
I'm the praise team in the background, y'all.
No, but seriously, like, even if you're not a Christian and you believe in God, like, Proverbs is such a great book. It's written by Solomon, who was David's son, who's one of my favorite authors in the Bible, because I feel like Solomon, like, I'm talking a little Bible here, but just trust me, like,
this second time you done gone. I told you, preaching is in your future.
Trust me, like, David is kind of like the old school, right? Like the parents, all that stuff like that. Solomon is like the new school. Like David hit Goliath. Like that's the story of David and Goliath. Like he was a shepherd boy. He earned his way up.
Yeah.
Solomon was David's son, so he was born into royalty. Solomon would have been TikToking. You know what I'm saying? Like he was a little bit more entitled. So he was like cool, but Solomon was really down to earth. Like and he was very, very wise. It says he's one of the wisest like kings in the Bible. And I say that because like even one of the books in Ecclesiastes, he talks about like, I love there's nothing new under the sun. And like how he even talks about like how there's like don't be too good or be too bad because we all share the same fate.
Yeah.
That's why I always think about like these people who like, I don't eat cinnamon buns, I don't eat cake, I don't eat none of that because I'm just super duper healthy. And it's like, you're gonna die just like me. Like it's like I'm just saying like to try to
have the bun.
Like if I want to eat a cinnamon bun, like don't be excessive, but don't do stuff so much to where you are like limiting yourself to enjoying life because we all share the same fate. Yeah. Like at the end of the day, and you wouldn't expect to read that in the Bible, but that's like just true wisdom. It's like why not do certain things thinking that that's going to save your life to a certain extent, and it's like. Nah, like you still gonna die just like the best person in the world and just like the worst person in the world. The worst person in the world might outlive you. So it's like
we see it every day because I ain't going there. It's just a certain person by a certain number that used to live in a certain big house in DC.
Time is coming.
Oh Lord Jesus, go ahead. Sorry,
but the verse it says, "If you sleep with another man's wife, you will be punished. A hungry man might steal to fill his stomach. If he is caught, he must pay 7 times more than what he stole." It might cost him everything he owns, but other people understand. Why? Because he was hungry. They don't lose all their respect for him. But a man who commits adultery is a fool. A man who sleeps with another man's wife is a fool. He brings his own destruction. He will suffer disease and disgrace and never be free from shame. The woman's husband will be jealous and angry and do everything he can to get revenge. No payment, no amount of money will stop him.
Yes, you read this on an episode before.
Yeah, like
it's always when you get to that last part.
It's like,
it's true.
Like that's real. Like it ain't gonna be no satisfaction that's gonna have him be like, oh yeah, that was cool. Like it was cool. Like we good. It's like nah. That's what's that saying they say that vengeance knows no whatever or anger knows like. I don't want to deal with that. It's a lot of more fish in the sea if I was gonna do that. Well, I don't want to deal with that that vengeance, that anger, that wrath that can show up at any point. Like you just sitting in your class teaching and it's like, is that
person just pulls up? Like I heard of this story, this guy who, by the way, he was cheating on his wife a lot, but then he found out that she was cheating. He chased the guy, like car chased. The guy's in his car. The man is in his car. He tried to hit that man with his car. The guy like got out, ran out of his car. He was so scared that like this was going to be bad. He was like, I was so out of my mind. I tried to hit that man with my car. I'm like, 1, it's crazy. 2, but you were also cheating and you was doing. Oh Lord,
just upset and angry.
Just blank out.
It's like it's a fog, man. People don't understand. So I say it to say is that I ain't messing with, like, first I'm married, number one, but outside of that, I ain't messing with another man's wife. I remember even when I was single in college, my friends were trying to get me to mess with this girl who was like really into me and she was married to a dude in jail. And I was still like, Nah, I'm good. Like I'm not about to.
Yeah.
Clearly,
The Bible
the Bible
says.
clearly tells you what's going to happen if you mess with a married woman. I'm good. It's a lot of other women
I'm
out here,
good. I'm
and then
good.
even during marriage, like I've had women approach me and be like, "Yo, like, what's up? Like, we both got the same. Like, we both got the same to lose. Like, you know, whatever, whatever." And I just look at the situation and you see my why I wouldn't cheat video, and it's just like it just ain't worth it, like
Yeah.
to pursue that or do that or anything.
Yeah.
Because obviously, even though you're married, you're not blind. You see attractive women, you're like, oh, this woman looks good, or this person, you have good chemistry with this
Yeah.
person or something like that. But you're like, overall, it's just not worth it, especially because of the wrath of like her husband, and if
Yep.
he finds out what could happen, like it's not worth dealing with all that.
Yeah,
So
that end game, you don't think about it when you're in the midst of it, but you should, because that end game can look really crazy. It can come with so much shame and embarrassment. It can come with violence and vengeance, like you said. But what I know, even if it doesn't come with violence and vengeance, even if it just ends like you all just separate and there's no drama from the person's spouse, like you don't get caught necessarily, what I know for sure is the emotional stress of it. It is very taxing. It's very tolling. I've
sure.
certainly been there. Y'all know. I hope that y'all appreciate that I am always very honest about my challenges. That's why I feel like I'm a good contributor to the real love scenario, because I've lived, you know, not in a bad way, but I've experienced some things. I have done it, and it's just not worth it. In the moment, it feels good. In the moment, I mean, it feels, depending on the situation, it feels no different than a normal situation. Like you feel fulfilled, you feel certain things.
liberated almost.
Yeah, you feel all types of stuff, but it would be very hard to transition that into a normal relationship, because one, you were only experiencing a fragment of that person, so you don't have the full scope of who they are. You're getting a portion of them. Their spouse is probably getting majority of them. You're getting a fragment, and that fragment is probably really good, the portion you're getting. So then they lose that, and that is still a loss. Like, even if a person is not happily married, right? They want out of their marriage. They don't really want to be with that person. Actually making that decision and moving forward with it is still a form of grief. You're still losing something. Even if you don't want it anymore, that is a person that has been a part of your life that at some point you were happy with. You may have even made a family with this person. So these are your kids. This is your kid's other parent. So it's still a loss. Are you really, as the side person, going to be able to support them as they're grieving another person?
Yeah.
Probably not. That's too much to take on emotionally. Then you potentially run into the idea of what so many people say: how you got them is how you lose them. So now you're going to be sitting here thinking, while you're in a relationship with this person, I wonder if they cheating on me. I wonder if they wish on me. I mean, they did. They cheated on them with me. So what would make me so different? It's so many other emotions to consider when you do this type of thing that you don't necessarily consider when you're dating somebody that's just truly single. You don't even have to think that far down into the road with it. So while it might seem good and hot in the moment, it's just not. It's not worth it. Like, if y'all are supposed to be together, then God, the universe, whatever you believe in, will orchestrate and move things along so that you can be together appropriately.
For sure.
I think about Marjorie and Steve Harvey, which don't kill me, because I know a lot of people feel like she was in fact his side chick at some point and just became his wife. But if I'm going with the story that they tell,
Yes.
it is that they met each other when they were both married to other people. And he wanted to marry her. He had this vision that he would marry her. But obviously, he was married to somebody else. So through life and time and whatever, many years later, they met again and they were both single. And we kind of know the rest is history. They're married today. So if that's really how it's going to be, let it come like that. Again, if we are believing that what they say is true, y'all, please don't drag me, because I don't feel like it. But yeah, like, if that's how you feel about it, then just live your life and let God bring the person to you. Don't you go meddling in something and hurting yourself.
For sure.
Yeah.
Nah, I definitely agree. Okay, so the next question that we can kind of go into is, how do you feel about workplace romance, just in general, even if it's not an affair? Like, yes, no.
Maybe.
Have you been around workplace romances? Like,
Yeah.
have you seen it successfully work? Like that
Yes.
happen in the workplace in the exact same place? And
Yes.
okay,
Yes. I've seen it and it was fine. And they got married and they are still married to this day.
oh, that's nice.
What I will say is once they really like became a couple, they went to the company that they worked for. They were very honest about it. And they ultimately they started working still for the same company, but in
in
different
different places.
locations.
Got you.
Yes. Because that was the company's policy that they couldn't work at the same actual physical location. So yeah, and it worked out great. That's the one example that I know of to where it worked out like really good. Everything else, any other experience I've ever seen
No,
with it, it get only because the
it's a lot of workplace
relationships.
lust.
Yes, a lot of workplace lust. We have we have experienced this together.
Yes, I've experienced it for
Yes,
sure.
many times. When Dre and I used to work together, there were lots of people who lusted after him, and
Married and all.
it just didn't matter. It did not matter. It did not matter. It's like y'all can obviously see that Dre is a good looking guy, but it was just like so overwhelming sometimes. Like y'all, it's like y'all ain't never seen a good looking man before. Like it would just be so wild to see. Like they would just be like, y'all, if you're listening, I'm sorry, but I can't
Describe it
I
any
can't
other way.
describe it. They just would be so like, there he is. It just would they would just perk up. It would be crazy. And so it's like once that feeling, let's say you go forward with it, once you are now in the thick of that, and then it just doesn't work out, like y'all did what y'all did, but then you just have to return to coworkers. That's when it gets weird and complicated because now they might be seeing somebody else, or you now still have to work together, but you got bad energy because you stopped dating. It's just, that's why I say maybe. I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but to me, it's only good when it works out.
Yeah, I
When it don't
mean,
work out, it's messy.
I think workplace relationships or workplace lust is very common just because it's almost like fantasy esque. Like it's very,
Yeah.
it's fun. It's like cool. It's like, oh, like this is, it kind of feels like you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
So it makes it more exciting. It makes it more fun. It makes it more cool. It's almost like, I mean, workplace essentially is the school of our adult years.
Yeah.
And when you're 18, I mean, 16, 17, 15, like
Yeah.
you're in school. So
Yeah.
that's the time to where throughout the day you're socializing with people, meeting new people, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Once you become an adult, you have the workplace, and that's where you socialize, meet new people, do
Yep.
new things and stuff like that. So that becomes that social setting for you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of natural that you'll meet people, you'll build relationships with people,
Yeah.
you'll build a relationship with people, and then there'll be some lusting involved and some attraction involved and
Sure.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Can I say that I've seen it successfully? I can't say I've seen it successfully,
Yeah.
but I know I've seen people have some fun things and then they just leave it at fun.
Yeah.
But like
long as
actually
you-
turn into a relationship, nah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just it's I would not say don't do it, but I would just say be super cautious about it. Because you have to think of it on both sides. If it works out and if it doesn't, what does that look like if it doesn't? Can you really keep working there and seeing the person every day and being normal? Act like you're normal, to be normal.
Yeah.
No, probably not. Probably not. So
Nah. And then it kind of is like it being your little secret and makes you like, you ain't
Yeah.
gonna act normal. You're gonna do little things on the side like that only y'all know. Like
exactly.
walking down the hallway, you think nobody looking, you're gonna
You
slap
slap
them.
grab the little fingers. You do all the
yeah.
things, and like I think it's so natural. Like you said, the workplace is like school for adults. I think it's very natural to, if you are single, to like that's a place where you could meet
people,
People,
yeah.
of course it is. So I think across industry is fine, right? Like you work in entertainment. all of that can be considered your workplace.
Mm-hmm.
You could very well meet somebody that works in the same business as you at a conference or like something like that. I think it only gets really sticky when you all literally work in the
Direct,
exact
yeah.
same place closely day in and day out. Your offices are next door to each other.
Mm-hmm.
That is when it's like, ooh, this could be like really, really tricky.
For sure.
Yes. Like I dated a resident.
Mm-hmm.
Like my ex was my resident. That's how I met him.
Yeah.
You know, he applied to move into the building that I was managing and he expressed his interest. And I told him no initially because I was like, it's a conflict. And I just don't even want to deal with that. You live upstairs. I work in the office. You're going to think you're getting favors, or I just don't want it to be weird. I don't even want people to think that I would be giving you favors because, and this is all just from him asking me, can we go on a date? I foresaw all of that and was like, nah. But we wound up being together for 4.5 years.
I messed with a few residents. I can't say I had done that when we were
what I did and what Dre did, two different things. Two different things.
Mine was more short term.
Yes, exactly. You was just messing with residents. I wanted to be in a relationship with a resident.
I was young, you know.
Yeah, you was living your life.
And one I was talking to before she became a resident.
Okay.
So, you know.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I mean, so it was fine. It was fine. He was really mature.
Yeah.
I was very honest with the company that this was happening and I didn't have to make any changes. He was so respectful of my workplace. So we really wouldn't like see each other while I was at work.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. And so when residents started to figure it out, that was when it was a little weird. Like people would see us leaving the building on dates and stuff like that. Like then it would be like, wait, ain't that the guy that live on? Yeah,
And
so
all you need is one comment. I don't know what y'all doing. You let your little boyfriend get away with, and it's like, oh, here
and
we
that
go.
Definitely happened.
Yeah.
That happened. That totally happened. So
I seen your little boyfriend in the mini spaces past 11 o'clock. How come I can't be?
How come I can't use the clubhouse after 11? Because you got your boyfriend in there. So after a year, he moved out.
Got you.
Yes, he moved out. We wound up moving together.
Got you.
Yes.
Oh, that's
So,
nice.
Yeah. So it worked out.
That's good. So as we talk about cheating, do you feel like, because in this, Teacher Anonymous is like all up in arms that he's not the only other one.
Yes.
That there seems to be other two. But who knows? She may got a bowling league. She may go to church. She may got different, as I think it's ludicrous, hoes in different area codes.
Yeah.
You know, she
got hoes. I got hoes.
in different area codes.
Rest in peace, Nate Dogg. I think that's who that is.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I think so.
Isn't they dog? Okay. But anyway, she seemed like she up to a lot and she got a lot going on.
Yeah.
But do you think there is a code to cheating, like rules of engagement and how you should do things? Because I feel like cheating is
cheating.
It's the Wild Wild West.
It is. It's
out here.
All is fair in love and war. You know, I do see it that way. I'll put it this way. Everybody's entitled to feel how they feel. You can have feelings all day long. It does not mean that they are facts. It doesn't mean that that's what it's going to be. It doesn't mean that even your feeling is going to be respected or acknowledged.
Yes.
So I understand his feeling. I really do, because even when you're the side person, sometimes like you really want to feel special. And sometimes the person that is in a relationship and has you as the side, they're like making you feel special. They are like doing too much. They are getting too emotionally invested with you, allowing you to get invested with them. And so you really do start to feel like, okay, like I know that they are like married, but I'm with them. Like I'm I'm their person. Like if it wasn't like in his case, I feel like he feels like if she weren't married, she would be with me. That's his mindset.
Listen, let me.
And
tell you
so
something.
your feeling is a feeling. It ain't a fact.
Let me tell you something about when it comes to this stuff. How often have y'all heard people when they look like they have kids, right? And then the kids are hanging with their grandparents, which is the people's parents, and they was like, "You was never like that with me,
Yeah.
like you are with these grandkids." You know why? It's because they don't got the commitment of having to have them kids all the time.
That's
They
right.
see them for a little while,
A fragment.
do all the stuff, do all the great things, make it fun, make it exciting. And you know what they do? They give them back. It's not their commitment.
That's right.
They had you all the time. All your hell raising, all your attitudes.
Yep.
They were different with you. Your transitions, your puberty, they had you all the time. So that looks different.
Yeah.
You're going to always feel special if somebody can only have you for a little while and give you back and they not committed to you because they can curate the moments with you to be however they want them to be.
That's correct. That's correct. That's why I said it's not worth the juice. The squeeze ain't worth the juice or however it goes, because you only have a fragment of this person. So it's an augmented reality.
It is an augmented reality.
You're not home with her and them kids that you said they married. She got a bunch of kids at home. You're an outlet to some degree when y'all are getting hot and heavy in as you said, their favorite spot on their lunch break. She's not a mom. In there, she's just a woman. She's just a woman having fun, no responsibilities. You're just a man having fun, no responsibilities. And so, yeah, of course. Again, you can have your feeling, and I actually understand his feeling.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter though in this situation.
Nah, bro, you a edible or you a blunt. Like she just taking
a hit. Yeah.
Just get a little relief, but then she going back to her situation because that make the most sense.
Absolutely. She going to that situation and the coworker, which I think, like, I just gotta know, like, your thoughts on, like, what do you feel like her mindset is? Not just to be cheating on her husband, but to be doing it with two of her coworkers. Like, they all work in the same location. Like, what do you think of her as a person? Not to like disparage her, but seriously,
I think her mindset is I got married too early because he says she's 28 and she's been married for 10 years.
Yeah.
She got married when she was 18. Yeah. Maybe she had a kid when she was 18. Maybe she felt like she was trapped. This isn't the life she wanted, but what she's in right now is ideal for her. Again, this is not an excuse. It's just where I think her mind could be. And then I think that, like I said, she's in a situation where she sees people that she's attracted to and maybe want to pursue something with. And she's like, I'm at the point now to where I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to try it. I'm just going to explore life. And maybe, you know, her and her husband talked about it and they both are over it, but they stay together for kids, which a lot of people do.
Yeah.
So I don't even know like how much of her personal situation you know, or how much you even want to know if you're somebody who's like, you know, you're the side person, like, you know, she's married. So how much have you really even asked her about her situation? How much do you know about her situation? And it may not be a lot because you probably don't care to know much about the situation, or maybe she doesn't even want to talk about it. And she's like, wow, why are we talking about him or that part of the relationship?
This is what we doing is what we doing.
Is what we doing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I try not to be judgmental because I think everybody has a story and everybody's just trying to live and navigate their lives the way that they see fit for themselves. But I just find her to be a very irresponsible person. Like, that is extremely careless. The idea of cheating to begin with is already very risky and not very responsible, right?
Yes.
Like, you took vows, even if you were really young and probably should not have taken them at 18, you still took them, right? You still made a commitment. And I was just talking to my brother about this because he was like, you know, people get into marriages not realizing that leaving really should not be an option. Yes, you all know that it's an option. Like, you say this all the time. But he was like, people don't do that. People just get married because it's fun. People get married because you just really like this person, but not realizing that, like, marriage is a commitment. So to already take the step to get married and then, like, cheat is already risky. But to cheat with someone at your job, you're stacking on the riskiness. Then you're cheating with another person at your job. You amping up the riskiness again because these two men could be gossipy. They could talk about it and then find out. You could lose your job. You could lose your spouse.
STDs, like, it's so much that
it's
can come
just
from
so
that.
much.
Yeah.
It's literally so much. Oh God, sorry y'all. Job. I'm always working. yeah, it's just so much that's risky about that. And so for me, for her, it's like she's just living a very like almost careless. She's in a very careless space in her life. And so when people are cheating, you have to consider that even though you're building a bond with them and you like them and all these other things, they are participating in the risky behavior, and you are a participant in it too, whether you think you are or not. And so I just don't even think realistically you can be a person who can make sense of this or like have real standards around it, because it's obvious that a person's standards or moral compass is lessened to even be doing it in the first place.
Yeah.
So you're thinking too highly of them.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think a big thing too is one thing that we talked about last episode and that I talked about was the difference between chemistry and compatibility, and understanding that timing is a big part of compatibility. And when you come in a situation like this, we're going to help Teacher Anonymous and answer his questions that he has at the end. But as far as the woman, if you're in a situation with somebody like this, especially at the age of 18, like people have to have time to explore, because I'm a true believer in that, because what it seems like is that at 18, number one is that she could feel like, and she can see other people living their life, right? Like, oh, going out to Miami and turning up and doing this and doing that. And she starts to envy that life and say, like, I never had a chance to do that. I never had a chance to explore. I never had a chance to like just have fun. I never had a chance to just like do a one night stand and know if I don't like it or do like it, or meet somebody out and just be like, oh, like I just want to pursue this
wild night
just for the weekend. Like we know we're just here for the weekend and that's just my boo for the weekend. Like I never got to experience that. And I can say from somebody who has experienced that, like, although being married is much, much better, especially as you get older, it's just better life decision.
Yeah.
But some of those moments and memories are fun. And it's like, it's exciting. It's invigorating. It's good to have those experiences. And if you don't have that and you see other people have that, you start to envy that. Like that can give you FOMO, and you have fear of missing out, which then can result in, if you committed too early, that you want to explore that, and then you start to explore that in your committed relationship. So I feel like, number one, you got to give people the time to like explore. So don't force somebody into a relationship that don't want to be in a relationship. Like when Bree and I got married, both of us were like, yes, this is exactly what we want. We're super happy. It wasn't like, I know some people, they like, they are proposing, but they don't know what the person's going to say. Like, what?
Yeah, I'm nervous. I have no idea if she's going to like accept it or not. I just don't know.
Like, it's like, how do you not know if the person's going to accept? Like, y'all ain't talk about this?
You should be pretty sure.
You should be sure and confident that this person, like, is going to say yes if you propose to them and if you buy a ring and do all that stuff. So that shouldn't even be a thing. But also, when you get married early, sometimes when people get in certain situations early, depending on how much exposure they get, they can be stuck in that age and mindset for the duration of that time and that period. So it's like, she got married when she was 18. Who knows what she experienced, what the exposure was outside of that. So her mentality, although she is now a decade older, 28, her mindset could still be that of, a teenager.
It could be. Yeah. And I think even doing, Lord, even participating or having two affairs at once, it is almost like it's an extreme, form of like exploration. It's like, you're not like, if she was single, she may be messing with two guys at once. That's possible, like sleeping with two guys at once, but she may not. That might just, she's single, she's dating one guy at a time. But it's like when you're in something, it's like when you were a kid or if you were a preacher's child and it's like, oh, I can't do this, you can't do that, you can't listen to secular music, you can't wear these clothes. It made you want to do it more. You were like, oh, what's on the radio that's so bad? I mean, you would sneak and listen to it.
The story in the Bible is the first story in the Bible.
Yeah.
You can eat from every tree but this one.
It's like, well, what's so wrong with this one? Like, that's the one that the apples look the best on that one. What do you mean?
They probably don't even look the best, but because you can't have it.
Just because you can't have it, it just seems so exciting to you. So then you do some like extreme form of getting what you want, and then you unravel everything. And I feel
Yeah.
like that's kind of this. And I would not recommend anyone get married so young. I really, really wouldn't. But if you
Yeah, that's
find
like olden
yourself,
times.
yeah, like 18 is so young to
Yeah.
get married. But if you find that that is where you are, like you're a really young person and you think that at that time that's what you really wanted, I would say in order to try to have as much success in it and not deal with this idea of not living out certain things before you got married, is to you have to really be way more sensitive around curating the people that are around you, curating what you see, because comparison is hard for all of us, but I think it's very hard the younger you are. That's all you care about when you're like a teenager and a preteen. Like, well, so and so's doing it. Why can't I go? All my friends are going to the dance. Why can't I go? That just becomes your whole life. Or everybody likes blah, blah, blah. Why don't they like me? Or mom, everybody has new shoes on the first day of school. I can't wear shoes. Everything is about comparison. But the older and the more mature you get, you shed a lot of that. But at 18, 19, 20, 21, to me, that's still a major factor. And so if you're the only married person in your group, you need to find new friends. I'm not saying that you can't be friends with your single people, but you can't spend your most time with them. You can't have a full on social life with them, because it will be so easy for you to feel like what they're doing is so fun and you want to participate in it. It's not that what you're doing is not fun though. And you need to be around other married people who are showing you that this is not the only form of fun. Being single and sleeping around or dating multiple people is not the only version of fun in life. Fun is also cultivating a beautiful marriage and a fun home with your person, and like vacationing and learning each other, starting businesses together, working on projects together. Fun can be had in a lot of different ways, but you've got to control what you see and what you hear.
Yeah.
It's like literally you curate your own algorithm for your life. It's like, yeah, I love her and we were friends since middle school, but she is living her best life right now. Every time I talk to her, she's dealing with another guy. I can't keep being involved with her too much because it's pulling up something in me of temptation, and I don't want to be tempted in this way.
That's the one thing about us as people is that I always say this, that we're smart, but we're not as smart as we think we are. And just as, and I don't want to reduce it down to something so, I guess, elementary in a sense, or make us seem or make us not seem like we're intelligent beings, because obviously we're very intelligent.
Yeah.
But just like you can train dogs, you can train fish, you can train elephants, you can train humans too.
Absolutely. We are trained.
We are. Like, there's so much cultural conditioning, and best believe if you are around a certain type of group of people enough, you will tend to adapt the habits of those group of people.
It's also called birds of a feather flock together.
For sure.
It's true.
Like if you were around, I noticed when I was around a certain group of people, I started to curse more because they curse a lot, or I started to say things a lot more because they say it a lot. You start to adapt the vernacular, how they talk. Even when I used to do camps for football and I was hanging around all these people from the South, like I started to like say Southern things, or like start to sound like I had an accent sometimes. And it's just because I'm hanging around these people. So those influences, like Rhonda said, you have around you, those are huge.
They're huge.
And understanding like how to, you know, act, especially when you're married, because I know that that's one thing that I feel like people should explore more if you get into a relationship, is like how to have fun together in your relationship. How to find that balance, because you can do that, but sometimes we struggle with that because you think it's like, oh, there's this commitment, there's a lot of things that I can't do, and you always think about the things you can't do, and it's like, well, no, there's a lot of things you can do. It's just about like, how do I find a way to do it, or how do I, you know, enjoy myself within, you know, the commitment that I have with my partner. So I think that's very important, and what you said makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, for sure. So listen, I feel.
So we should answer this question.
Yes, I feel like torn for him, because one part of me wants to be like, oh, come on, my guy. Like, don't be foolish like this. But I also, at the end of the day, understand that your feelings are feelings, and heartbreak sucks.
I don't feel torn. I'm sorry. For him.
Damn, Dre. They said the hell with it.
Because it's one thing if you are messing with a woman and she's like, I don't want no commitment, I'm cool, and you starting to fall for her. and then you found out she was messing with another dude.
Yeah.
That's one thing. You messing with a woman who's already married, and you mad because, or you're sad because
she cheating on him.
That's
It's par for the course.
reap what you sow.
Yeah.
That's
karma spent the block on you quick.
I mean, I can't even call it karma. It's just what happens.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Nature of the beast.
Reap what you sow. Literally, that's what you sowed into the ground, and it just grew. That's it. She cheats on the people that she has a commitment to. You ain't special.
Yeah. That's it.
That's just what happens.
It's true.
So should you tell her and let her know your real feelings? No. For what? She don't care.
Right, because all she's going to say is, well, and try to explain it to you. It doesn't really matter. It is what it is. She did it.
She don't care about the dude she actually made a commitment to.
Yeah, and even if she does, not enough to not cheat on him.
Not enough.
She doesn't have enough discipline to not cheat on him. So
what do you think? The question is, what do you hope to accomplish by doing that?
Yeah.
You want to let her know how you feel? She don't care. She ain't gonna care.
Yep.
And then what she might end up doing is being like, all right, this person being a little too much. I'm going to start distancing myself from this person because he catching feelings.
Yeah.
I don't need this. If you, which I suggest you don't mess with a married woman, but if you're going to choose to still have fun, then just have your fun and place it in your mind that she's married. You just having fun. And that's what it is.
Yeah. I will say this, two things. One, I don't disagree with you. I think you signed up for a game without understanding the rules of it. And for the most part, there aren't any.
No.
When you're in that space, people can just kind of do what they want. And truth be told, no matter what space you're in, people can kind of do what they want. But definitely in this one, it's like, sucks to be you, sucks to be her. But realistically, hey, you know what I mean? Like, you just be thankful that you learned before you got even further down a rabbit hole with this woman that it's not anything serious, and it never was because she was cheating on her husband. It probably was never going to become anything in the first place. But the second part of his question, which is what I was saying earlier when I say I do feel bad for him, is because he clearly understands that there is something in him that made him okay with this to begin with. And he wants to make sure that he doesn't find himself in this situation again. And that is ultimately the crux of the issue, right?
Yeah.
Like, she's her own person. She needs her own processing. She needs her own help, therapy, whatever, reconciling with God about being a cheater. But you need all of the same things for being a person that's willing to do that, right? And you got to dig into yourself to figure out, why would you be okay with being aside if that's not really what you want? If what you really want is partnership and like a woman for yourself, you have to be really clear on that and not deviate from it. You have to set a standard and stand on it, no matter how beautiful she is, no matter how sexy she is, no matter how much she flirts with you. If your non-negotiable off the top is she must be single, then that's it. You can't fall for any of the other things, because as soon as you start engaging with someone, it becomes so much easier to go further with them. If you talk to them, you'll probably kiss them. If you kiss them, you'll probably touch them. If you touch them, you'll probably have sex with them. So the more that you engage, the further down a rabbit hole you'll get with them. So you got to stop it before you even get past go. You have to be like, oh, you're not single? Yeah, you're beautiful and all, but like, nah, I can't do that. Because what I want for myself is a woman that I can call my own, that I don't have to sleep with on a lunch break in the secret spot in the school. If you want better for yourself, do better for yourself. So that's the part where I feel bad, that hopefully you learn. It's a tough lesson, but I hope you got it.
I mean, this is the thing. In America, we have especially because of the type of content that we consume from when we were little kids up to adults, it's a very fairy tale, exaggerated mindset.
Yeah.
It's happily ever after, right? It's, the guy gets the girl at the end of the story. It tells you that chemistry is the biggest thing that comes with love, because a lot of our love stories are always about chemistry, never about compatibility.
Yeah. It makes me feel so good.
Even the evil that we see is plain just rotten, like evil. You don't see the evil of real life, which is masked as something beautiful. It's masked as a friend. It's manipulative. That's the real evil in real life. But in movies and stuff, evil is obviously like
horns,
just
blood,
pure evil. Like you can see
Right.
that that's wrong. And in everything, good always defeats evil. And all. So in America, we have this idea of like this fantasy of what life is supposed to be like. And there's a thing to where you have to understand that in real life, rarely, almost never are things kind of too good to be true in a sense, to where they don't add up when you look at it, but then somehow it magically works out. And you got to look at situations for that. That's how you avoid situations like this. You can't think that somebody cheating on their husband, especially like repeatedly, like let's say the first time you slept with her, she like was just in the bed and she was just like crying and she was like, I don't know, like how I did this or why I did this. Like, I'm sorry, like I can't do this anymore. Like that's a moment of weakness. I made a mistake. But if she's repeatedly for a year and a half doing it, that speaks to her character.
Yeah.
That speaks to the type of person that she is, how she values commitments, how she values relationships.
Yeah.
You can't ignore that as if it's just something that doesn't exist.
Sure.
Like it's just some movie to where it's like, oh, and we'll end up happily ever after. And that's not the guy from her, because she tells me all the time, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. She felt like she got married too early, and all these different things that she's telling you in these moments to make you feel great and all this stuff like that. You have to believe people when they show you who they are.
It's very simple.
And you can't be surprised when that person then reveals themselves for who they actually are when you've seen the signs of this. So that's how you avoid it, is first looking at a situation and seeing it and being like, whoa, this is the person. This is who they are.
Yeah.
This is who their character shows them to be from their actions. Either you decide that you don't want to deal with that person, or you adjust your mindset for your expectation to encompass what you've already seen, and you know, lowering your expectations of what you expect from somebody who, you know, does things like that. It's like, if I'm around people who, like, I know people who have, you know, they do like little stealing and stuff from like a 7-Eleven and stuff. Like if I know I'm around people who act that way and do stuff, like my expectation of when we going out or when we doing stuff is just much lower. It's like if I go out and they like, yeah, I stole some M&Ms from 7-Eleven, I'm just be like, I knew that was a possibility, like rolling with them, because that's just who they are. That's just who they are.
Yeah,
like
they thieves.
They thieves. Like you understand, like if this is what somebody is showing you that they are, believe them. That's like the biggest thing. If somebody shows you this is what they are, believe them. I don't know why we so adamant on not believing people when they show us exactly who they are. Like they could show us to their face, this is who I am through my actions. But I'm not going to believe you. Or I feel like I can change you. And it's like, no, this is who they are. Just believe them. They showing you. They're not even hiding it. They showing you.
That's it. But
so
it's
that's
like
how you can avoid
humans
it.
are trained.
That's how you can avoid it. Number one is just that. But healing from the situation, I feel like, is number one, getting yourself out of the situation.
Yes.
You can't heal while still being in the mess. Like you need to get out of the mess first. And then you can walk away from it, and then you can do all the steps that it takes to heal from that situation. Like I don't, like, trust me, I ain't gonna say I've been with a lot of women, but I've had great sex with a woman before, and then I've had great sex with another woman before.
Right.
Like there isn't like just one person
Right.
that you can have great sexual encounters with.
Correct. Or high sexual chemistry with.
Yes, like I feel like some people act like there's only one person that they can have that with, and it's just like,
I literally saw a pastor the other day. I think they asked him, like, do you think you can only have one true soul mate or whatever? And he was like, no, not really. He was like, I believe that, like, you know, it's not, you don't have an endless amount of them, but I think you can have a successful relationship and long-term marriage with more than one person in theory. Like it's not only one, it's just one, and you just see. That's what we tell you, right? That's what this fantasy world that we live in tells you. He was like, but if you're willing to do the work and find compatibility, surely this is how people have been married twice, and the second one is the one. It's fine. It doesn't mean the first one was not the one. They were the one for that time frame. This is the one for this time frame. So you'll live on. you will certainly be fine,
sure.
my guy. So I am very thankful for the write-in. Really, really, I am. It's such a spicy situation.
Riveting.
And this is one last thing I want to say to him about addressing it. I think that you don't need to address it in the thing of like telling her your feelings. Just say like, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm good.
And you can even tell her why you done. I'm done because I saw that you messing with old boy. And that's it. We don't need to talk about it. I don't need you to convince me of it. It's cool. It was fun.
Yeah.
Like, let's just keep it professional because we clearly work together. But let's just be done with it. Like, that's it. Just roll on with your life and don't slide back. Please, for the sake of the kids, teachers. Y'all doing a lot to be leading.
Yeah, the next
being
generation.
Educators. Lord, I'm glad I ain't got no kids. I'd be mad if this is what my teachers and my kids' teachers were at the school doing. Golly. Anywho, if you have a scenario and you run right into us, you know where to find us, relationshiprestored.com. Click the contact button and you can write into our show or the other shows on the network. You can also follow us on social media. I'm at Ronnie Cakes.
At It's Dre Smith.
And at Relationship Restored. Keep those likes coming, subscribe, comment, share. Dre, did I say share?
Yep, you did say share.
Okay, we'll see you next time.
See ya.